Hello ladies and gentlemen, it's realBluTV here, and this time a little bit of a different video. Some people have been asking for some content on Rogue Company, so of course I have to bring the videos and the content that you all want. So of course here we are, and we're going to start off with something a little easy and something a little helpful here. 5 tips that you need to know to get better and to win more games in Rogue Company. Now, most of this knowledge comes from my gameplay myself, but I'm not the best mechanically skilled player. So a lot of this comes from myself as a caster and an analyst. Of course, those of you who know who I am, I do cast Rogue Company. You can catch me on the CMG streams when we're doing the $8,000 qualifiers and main events for those. And that's mainly where I learn a lot about the game, is watching these pro players and how they develop over time, how they incorporate what is meta, what they use, how they use it, and where they use it, things like that. So most of these tips come from that, but some of it also comes from play that I've seen myself while playing, because I do solo queue a lot, both in ranked and casuals. I stream often, so you can usually check me out, and I'm playing these games with random players that I get matched up with, and some of them it's very interesting, especially when I play casual demolition. But without further ado, let's get right into it. The first thing you need to understand and to know to win more games is auto pickup. This is in your settings, and this is something that I see a lot of players not have turned on. Most notably, if I have the bomb in my possession in the plane, I can toss it, and if you have auto pickup on, it'll automatically pick the bomb up and put it in your possession. This is what you will see in pro matches and on the CMG streams when you see someone toss the bomb in the air to their teammate, kind of like, giving them a basketball pass on the court, or maybe throwing a football to a wide receiver. It's just a pass. That's what they're doing. And the reason why it works so well, even if the person who is receiving the bomb doesn't know that the bomb is coming in at them at that moment, or maybe they're checking an angle, or, trying to pre-aim on someone, the bomb's still going to be picked up by them because they have that auto pickup on. So if you just toss it within the vicinity of them, it's going to pick it up. This is also helpful because when you run over a dead body or where someone died, it'll pick up any of the equipment that you can use in your loadout at that moment without you having to hold the button or even look at the equipment to pick it up, maybe even switch your gun. That's what's super helpful. Let's say you're in a 1v1 situation to clutch and win the round, and you don't have a throwable, but there's a person who did and they died. When you run over where they died, it'll pick up that katana or that bat. It'll pick up that throwing axe. It'll pick up grenades. It'll pick up smoke grenades, any lethals, any utility. It'll pick that up automatically for you. Like the bats and the katanas, like I said. It'll also pick up guns. Let's say you had a bad pistol round. So the next round you come in, you only have a pistol. The other team has primary weapons. Well, if one of those people dies and you run over their body, it's going to automatically pick up that primary weapon. Now, if you already have a primary weapon in your kit, you have to manually pick up the second primary if you want to trade out your pistol. But hey, if you don't have a primary and you run over someone's body, it's going to pick that up for you. And that is something that is super helpful, especially in those clutch situations. Or if you're just in the middle of a firefight, you can randomly pick up like a fire nade or, an incense, whatever you want to call it, a Molotov, Molly, and you can throw it at them and possibly win that fight. It's one less thing you have to worry about. And it's more lethal in utility and throwables and primary weapons at your disposal. Plus, you can automatically pick up the bomb. The next thing that you need to know in order to win more games is the fact that you can still get shot while you are crouched behind cover. Okay? This is very important. If you're crouched behind cover, like the cement barriers on favelas, or maybe the trucks on favelas, or the orange barriers on canals, you can still be shot behind those. If you're moving while you're crouched, your head will peek up. So every time you move while you're crouching, your head peeks up enough for someone to shoot you behind cover. Okay? Not everyone's hacking, guys. You gotta calm down, all right? Also, if you're hiding behind those exact barriers that I just mentioned, your feet are still exposed. There's small little gaps underneath that you can actually shoot through, and you can get shot through those, okay? It's also like the blue containers in the one section of B long on canals. You can still shoot through those. Now, granted, that's probably not the best option as the person shooting, but hey, If someone happens to walk past that and you shoot through that and it hits them, it will hit them, okay? So you can still be shot behind cover. And don't forget, if you're behind cover, don't move if you need to regen health, otherwise they can dink you in the head. Another thing is use the walls and cover to your advantage, not just to hide, but also to look around. I mean, this is a third-person game after all, and intel is king in this game, so you can three-peek corners. If you don't know what that means, it means you hide behind the wall and you move your mouse or your right joystick, and you can turn and see around walls without actually exposing yourself. The next thing that you need to know, which is probably one of the most important ones, I believe, is play slow. You don't always need to play fast, especially on defense. Remember, information in Rogue Company is king. Intel, info, information, whatever you want to call it, that is the most important factor in this game. Remember, the object of the game is not to get kills. The object of the game is to either defend the bomb sites or plant the bomb and make it explode, blow it up. Okay, that's why that is demolition, right? We're not talking about strikeout. We're not talking about extraction. We're talking about demolition. That is the ranked game mode. And if you want to get better at that, or you want to play at a competitive level, that's going to be the game mode you're going to be playing mostly, right? So you have to remember, information is the most important thing in Rogue Company, right? Yeah, you can get 50 kills and still lose a demolition match. Yes, that's possible because you do not understand what is happening, and that is you need the information, right? I see a lot of people in ranked and in casual demo, they just run out there and look for the kills and they instantly get picked. That leaves your team at a huge disadvantage because now it's a 3v4 and the other team can play more aggressive off of that because they know they have the numbers advantage, right? So you have to wait for that intel. You don't always have to play slow and you don't always have to play fast. You can kind of mix it up. Find a good mix between the two. Some rogues are better at playing slow, like a Dahlia, because she has that ability to res her teammates. You don't want her going down, otherwise that res is not available. And she also has a good gun. She has good utility. She's not in the fight if she just rushes out there and gets killed without any information of where they're going, right? That's why there's rogues like Dallas, Talon, able to find people. That's why tracker rounds exist. If you can get some shots on someone, you now have the intel of where they're going, where they're backing up to. It's a tactical shooter. It's not Call of Duty. You have to remember that, people, okay? And most of the time when people play aggressive in random games, like ranked or something, and there's no communication through microphones, then they mainly are just feeding. And when you're feeding, you're just giving the enemy team more money. And if they get more money, they get more perks, more upgrades to their guns, and they have a better advantage going into the next round. All right, so this next one is something that I see a lot of newer players doing especially, and that's upgrading your guns immediately, okay? You don't need to upgrade your guns immediately. There's only a select few rogues that actually need 2 upgrades on their primary weapons. First of all, I don't believe you should upgrade your pistol at all, because if you do in the first round, then you're slacking on utility or lethals, I know Phantom's pistol is kind of weak. It's the same one Talon has, but at the same time, if you just practice hitting your shots or you get good angles on people, you can still find the damage and the kills that you need. Plus, that puts you at a disadvantage because if you only get 1 down or maybe just 2 and you go into the next round, you're able to buy your primary, of course, but you can't get a grenade or a smoke or a flashbang or whatever it may be. So you have to remember, upgrading your pistol, to me, not a great idea, especially in the first round. If you got some extra cash flow towards the later into the rounds of the half, like round 4, 5, 6, then yeah, go ahead, sure, whatever. But another thing is that I see a lot of people triple upgrading their primary guns. They don't have any lethals, they don't have any utility, they don't have any good perks online, they don't have any throwable melees, things like that. So you have to remember, upgrading your guns is not always the most important thing. It's actually pretty low on the tier list for myself when I'm playing. I like to prioritize perks, throwables. If you're losing gunfights, 9 times out of 10, it's not because of your gun. And it's not because of the level of your gun. You have to find other ways to win fights. You can use your throwables to your advantage. You can win, if someone is rushing you, and you are three-peeking them and you know where they're coming from and they haven't seen you yet, that's an easy throwable right there. If you're not good with throwables, then hey, you can still pop up and shoot them. You have the element of surprise. You three-peek them. They are just playing aggressively and feeding, so take advantage of that. You don't always need to upgrade your guns. Another good thing is to figure out what perks help versus which rogues. There are perks that counter certain rogues' effects and things like that. Remember, if you have a Scorch on your team, her passive is she's not getting hit by fire. So she doesn't have to worry about the fire from the enemy Scorch. If you're playing Dahlia and there's a Scorch on your team and there's a Scorch on the enemy team, hey, link to that Scorch. Guess what? Now you're both immune to that fire. You can win that gunfight. Don't worry, guys. Perks, throwables, melees, I put them much higher than gun upgrades. So just chill out on the gun upgrades, okay? Take it slow, three-peek it, and win gunfights because of the intel and not because you're trying to play Call of Duty. All right, so the fifth and final thing that I'm going to tell you that you need to know in order to win more games and become a better player is the advantage that utility and lethals give you. It's very, very important. And a lot of people don't understand this. When I go into ranked games or into casual games, I usually, in a ranked game, I'll go on the mic round one and say, hey, does anybody have a smoke grenade? If we're on attack, I believe smoke grenades are really good. Smoke grenades are still really good in the competitive level, right? The best thing to do is if you want to get better or you want to learn which buys to get round to round, or, you play this certain rogue and you want to know what to buy on that character, or usually what you are looking to buy, then you can watch some pro gamers, some pro Rogue Company players, watch their streams, watch the tournaments. Again, Checkmate Gaming, CMG _esports on Twitch. You can watch those players and see what they're buying, see what they're using, and you can also figure out what works against other rogues so that you can kind of counter that. If there's a Dallas on the other team, hey, grab Cloaked. That's a good perk. You'll no longer get revealed. Although the new update will change that. You'll be 50% revealed, so half the time of the original reveal. But hey, nonetheless, it's still good. If someone keeps flashbanging you, then you can play Anvil. You'll get that passive. Or maybe, if someone grenades you or C4s you a lot, you can just get Tenacity. If you're playing Anvil too, you can get Tenacity and Headstrong, which is armor and the ability to take less damage from explosives. So remember, utility, super useful. So I usually ask people, hey, does anyone have a smoke? And they usually say, no, I have a grenade, dude. Like, what is wrong with you? Smokes are useless, bro. And I'm just like, okay, well, if we're going to attack B, we can kind of shut down one side of B with a smoke grenade. That cuts off their line of sight. They can't see us running to the right, or they can't see us during a rotation. Or we can throw a smoke out there because one or two of us have tracker rounds and we fire blindly into the smoke. And then if we hit someone even one time with one bullet, they get marked. We have that intel. We can see what is happening. EMP grenades, they destroy barbed wire, I believe, and they're really good at shutting down aggressive players. If someone's trying to push into you like a Scorch, they haven't popped their ability yet, but you think they're about to, just EMP that person, and guess what? They can't put that down. I mean, look at maps like Lockdown. If you push that B site on attack and you EMP at the right spot right off the bat, you can catch a trench before he even puts his trophies down, and then you can Dema him, you can grenade him, you can rush right into his face. You won't have the ability to use any ultimates or any lethals or utilities, stuff like that. So, I mean, flashbangs are OP nonetheless. They're getting nerfed in the next update. So remember, it's not always about gun upgrades. And remember, smoke grenades are not useless. Neither are anything else that doesn't explode. And remember, to get better, you've got to change things. If you don't make adjustments, then your play will never be adjusted. So remember, if you want to win more games, just rewatch this video when you need a little refreshment. My name is realBluTV. Follow me on Twitter at realBluTV with no E in blue. Make sure you guys check out my other YouTube videos for Rogue Company or any other games that you have an interest in. Let me know in the comments below what you think about these tips. Also, let me know what else you would like to see from the channel. I know we're going to do a couple guides on how to play each character or certain ways to play each character. We could do some map talk as well. Just let me know what you guys want. And remember, keep grinding and keep getting paid, ladies and gentlemen.